Today we are going to build the To-Do list application using HTML CSS and JavaScript, and here is the demo. So if I'm adding task 1, I can delete it also. Task 2, task 3, I can complete the task also. So that's what we are going to build. Let's get started. First we are going to create a form tag. So form tag in which we are having one input. So let's take the input which is our tasks, and one button. Let's suppose it's a add button. Okay, so first let's preview it. So this is how it looks. Okay, so this is a form, so I need to set the type of the button will be submit, and after submitting this button, let's write on submit. The function will be add task. In our script tag we create a add task function method, and what add task gonna do is get the id. We set the id as a task value, and let task value is equal to document dot get element by id, and the id of our value is task value. For the time being I am printing it on my console, so let's check if it's working correctly or not. So if I am entering anything like hello, wait, so it's keep reloading, so I need to avoid that reloading. So what I gonna do is pass as an event and take parameter as e and e dot prevent default. It avoid the reloading of browser. So if I'm gonna write hello, so that's hello. Wait, I'm gonna write dot value. So let's check it. Yeah, it's working perfectly fine. So for the task I need to store the all tasks into something. So for that I am using a array. Let's name it task list, and that's an empty array. For each add task I need to push the task. For that I use task list dot push, and what I need to push, the task value. Okay, so I create a new div having tasks. All the tasks will be shown will be render here. Okay, so for that I am creating new method which is a render tasks. Sorry, render tasks. By the way, we are using the arrow functions of a JavaScript. Okay, so what render task gonna do is iterate one by one over our task list and get the value and index of it. What we gonna do is we are getting this class task, right? First let's call it id so it's easy for us. Now what we gonna do is we get document, wait, okay, so what we gonna do is we get the id which is a tasks dot inner html plus is equal to value. Okay, so I need to add a value as h3 So I'm adding as an inner HTML. I'm using a template literal here. Call this method also. After this I need to call it, so I just call it. Now if we are writing any task and enter, it will show it here. If I again writing task 1, it will show it. So now there is a problem. So when I add task 1, it says hello hello and task 1, so it keep adding over the list. So what we are gonna do here is, uh, before render task I need to set the task, uh, I need to set the inner HTML of the task should be empty. So first should be empty, it will reiterate over it and display the values hello. So it's task 1, task 2 and task 3. So now our logic is correct. Now let's make the UI of it. So we will connect to our CSS, which is, it is a to-do list.css. So there is my so this is my color palette I am using. So background color, primary color, etc. So for the body, we are using the background color as like BG color, wait, BG color, and our font family will be Seco UI. We are setting the display flex, which will be aligning our elements horizontally and justifies content center and align item center. So it will be vertically and horizontally centers. Now it's fine, right? I need to add a margin top over the, so let's add a margin for that also. I'm making 50 px and 20 0 px. I think that's it for the margin. Now we are going to style our input and our input and button. Okay, so first let this as a display flex, justify content center, align item center, so it's keep aligned. Now I need to style these input and add. Okay, for the form input I'm setting the font size as 20 px and padding will be 10 px. The background color of this will be the secondary, the secondary. Okay, this is how it looks. So there should be no border. For that I'm using border is equal to none. The border radius will be 20 px. So there should be no outline. For that I'm using outline none. And I need to, for the form I want to add the background color as white, so it will be visually appealing. So I'm setting the padding as 20 px. Yeah, now it's workingly fine, but 30 px, yeah, that's fine. So I want to set the width of this as 400 px. The border radius will be 10 px. Okay, so there should be gap, so I set the gap as 10 px. Okay, now for the form input, form button, I set the background color as primary. Okay, font size as 23 px, padding top 40 px by 40, like 40 px, no, 10 px by 40 px. 10 is 7 px. So border should not be there, so border none. Border radius as a 10 px, and I need to set the color as white so it will be visually appealing, right? So the okay, I want to set the font weight also, let's say it's 600. Okay, now it's showing correctly, but I want to add the placeholder also, so let's add a placeholder for that, so the user will get a hint. So what's your plans, what's your next plan, what's your next plans? Okay, so the form, for the form input I want to, no, okay, for the form I want to give more padding, like suppose, no, for the form input, wait, I think for the form input I want to add more padding, like suppose 15. Now it's, I want to set the border radius as 20 px and box shadow as my variable, which is a shadow. Now it's showing correctly, right? If I add hello, so it's keep iterating over there. So for that I need to style the tasks also. For the tasks, let's add to tasks, let's add slash hashtag task. For that, first of all I need the background white, padding should be 20 px, width should be 45%. So for the body I need the flex direction as a column. Okay, gap should be 10 px. Okay, so let's add a box shadow over there also. 25% very large, I need to set as 35%. 35% is great. And border radius also 20 px, margin top 10 px, 15, 20, let's say 20. Okay, let's add any task, hello, task 1. So here for the task list I want to add a checkbox and delete button. For that what I'm gonna do is, first let's create a task item variable and set it as a empty literal. For that I am creating one div. So in that div what I need one input. So one div, in div I am gonna need one input, input for a checkbox, so we don't need any name or id for that right now, and one button. So for suppose it's like this. So for the button I'm just using the X for right now I'm using just X. Okay, text here. So this is our UI for that. So I just copy it and paste it in my task item variable, format document. Okay, so this is where we have to insert the data. At the text I have to insert the data. We need to shift it in the for each, so it will access the value, and that's it. Let's check first. Oh, sorry, I need to change it here also. So not h3, it should add task item now. Yeah, so let's make it visually correct. So add a class here also, like as a task item. Now we can change task item. First of all, display flex, justify content, start, align items, center. Okay, so let's check. Hello. So that's how it's going to do, but we are not gonna do like this. Instead of h1 I'm using h3. Let's check h3. Hello, task 1. Okay, so margin should be 0px. Hello, task 1. For our checkbox task item input, I want to set the width as a 25px and height as a 25px. It will set the width. Okay, now for the X button, I want to align the delete button on my right side. Okay, and for that I'm saying margin left as auto. Let's check. Hello, task 1, task 2, task 3. So now it's perfectly fine, right? So for so I want to add a gap here. For that I'm using the gap task item gap 10px. The next we are gonna do is change the color of this. It's a blue, I need to change it as a green. For that what we have to do is just accent color, and I'm using the green one, bro. Complete icon color. Okay, let's check. Hello, now it's a green one, right? So it's not showing in the sorted manner, so the task I added first should be the last, right? So I need to change the logic. What I am going to do is just reverse the array. For that I am creating one new let task latest wise. So for the task latest wise I'm using the task list dot reverse. Array existing task list, then reverse. I'm not iterating over task list but the task latest. Now check. Task 1 added, task 2 added, task 3 added, task 4 added. Now it's latest wise. I'm gonna select anything. Our next step is when we click on this check button, it should strike through, means the task is completed. There should be line over there. There should be line over the task, right? So it should be completed, right? So what we gonna do is when we change, when we change this, we need to complete the task. So I'm adding a new method. So on change, it should call the complete task. Okay, for that I'm creating the new complete task method and passing event here, so it will get all properties of the input tag. Okay, for now let's console.log e.target.check. True, false, true, false. Now it's keep saying true or false because of the checking of the box, right? We are using it here. What I'm gonna do is, when we complete the task, if I'm saying if e dot target dot checked, then what it should do is get the e target dot next element sibling dot inner html, sorry, dot style dot text decoration, and it should be line through. Let's check if it's working. It's working. I need to set the color as a gray. For that I'm using the color as a gray. Now the task is completed. Otherwise, what we have to do is the opposite, right? If the condition is not met, that means it's false. So what text decoration should be none and the color will be black. Let's check it. Wait, I need to add else part. Now it's working for perfectly fine, but the delete button is not working. For that I'm creating a new method for the delete also. I'm writing here on click delete button delete task. Okay, we are creating a new method which is a delete task. Const delete task. Here we are passing the id of the, for using id we are going to delete from our list. I'm passing the index. We are getting the index here. So let's check if it's working fine or not. If I'm deleting task 2, so now it's working perfectly fine. For the delete button I'm using the icon. For that I need the font awesome cdn. So search for just font awesome cdn and go to cdn.js and copy your first copy link tag and paste it below the style sheet link. Okay, now directly go to fontawesome.com and search for delete. Find the trash icon, copy the HTML and instead of X use this HTML. Now this is how it looks. I want to avoid the background. For that I'm saying the background color should be none, and border should not be there. For that border should be none, and the color I want is red. For that I'm using delete icon color, and the font size should be 23 px. Let's check. Okay, not background but background color, but background. Okay, task 1. Now it's fine. Okay, so if I keep refreshing, this is what I am having. So for that, here I am saying no task, like in the id task, add no task, no tasks yet, and I am aligning on the center, not h1 but p. No task yet. If I'm adding anything, so task will be added. Okay, so that's it. To make it visually more appealing, I'm adding the d1.logo, h1 momentum. I'm using the rocket icon, so let's search for rocket icon. Rocket, copy the HTML and paste it here. So that's how it looks. Let's style it. For our logo, I need display flex, justify content center, align item center. Okay, gap should be 10 px, and the logo icon color should be primary. Font size should be 40 px. Now it's looking good, right? If I'm saying task 1, I can complete the task and delete it also, and that's it.